Pre-algebra lesson 69, absolute value and adding signed numbers. So absolute value is a concept that we need to learn right now, but not something that we're going to solve any problems with. So let's go over the concept very, very quickly. Absolute value looks like this. If I were to draw two vertical lines like this and then put a number right in the middle like 4, that is read as absolute value of 4. Now, the absolute value of 4 is 4. Now, let's do something different. Let's say we do absolute value lines and we put a negative 4 in there. Can you guess what the answer is? The answer is also positive 4. This might seem a little silly to some of you. The funny thing about absolute value is it's always a positive value. It's always a positive number. And I can explain it to you very quickly using a number line. So if I have a number line, I've got 0 over here, I've got positive 4 over here, I've got negative 4. Let's see here, 1, 2, and 3, and negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. What absolute value cares about is how far away that number is from 0. It doesn't care about whether or not the number is positive or negative. It cares about this distance. It just wants to know how far away it is. So if I count the distance from negative 4 to 0, that's 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 spaces. So that is an absolute value of positive 4. Now what if I did it with positive 4? The distance from 0 is 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space. Also an absolute value of positive 4. That's how absolute value works. It only cares about distance from 0, and that's why it's always positive. That may seem like a silly concept right now, but it'll make sense in future lessons, especially as we do more and more addition of signed numbers. So something we need to understand, not something we're going to solve any problems with yet. Now, let's go to addition of signed numbers. When we say addition of signed numbers, we mean things like this. What happens when I take positive 4 plus negative 7? What in the world? Well, we're going to do these using number lines. Don't worry, this won't be the norm forever, but it is a great way to start. So if I want to do positive 4 plus negative 7, what I'm going to do, and yes, everyone, what you have to do for now until we learn different ways to solve these problems, is you're going to draw an entire number line. All right, so first step, I'm going to draw a number line. I'm going to put 0. Okay, that's all I need to do. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my first number. My first number is positive 4. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've got positive 4. That is my starting point. Now, one thing I forgot to mention. Some rules you need to remember is that positive means right. So the direction right, not wrong or right, but the direction right, and that negative means left, to travel left. So positive 4, as we already know on the number line, means go right 4. Now, when we do positive 4 plus negative 7, that means I'm going to move 7 spaces to the left, and I'm going to move from the location of positive 4. I'm not going to start all the way back from 0. So my starting point is positive 4, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 0 counts as a space. 5, 6, 7 spaces to the left. Now, I've got to figure out what that number is, so I count these tick marks from 0. That's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. My answer is negative 3, and that's what happens when you add 4 and negative 7. So you're going to have to draw these diagrams on all of your homework. We'll do one more example, and then that'll be it for this lesson. Let's see here. Let's do... this is a good one. We will do, what is negative 2 plus negative 3, right? That one can seem a little tricky. So let's start by drawing our number line. 0, and then I'm going to go negative 2 spaces. Negative means left, so I go 1, 2. I'm at negative 2, and then I'm adding negative 3, so I have to go another 3 spaces to the left. 1, 2, 3, and that will be my answer, whatever that number is. So let's fill in these spaces. That's going to be negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So that is my answer. That equals negative 5, and it's that simple. Actually, these are so quick. I'll do one last example. You know, because I've noticed all my answers have been negatives. Can the answer be positive? Yes, yes it can. Let's say I start out with a negative number. Let's say I start out with, we'll do -2 again. What happens if I do -2 plus +7, right? What happens then? Well, I draw my number line, I put my 0, I count 1, 2 spaces to -2, right? And then since +7 is positive, I'm going to go right. So I go from -2 and I go right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces to the right. Now I need to fill in all of these numbers. So number 0 counts, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this actual number is 5. Now, some of you may be thinking, like, why do I have to draw the diagrams? Well, it helps you visualize what's happening. Also, don't forget to skip 0 and be neat. If you don't draw neatly, you're going to make mistakes. You'll skip numbers. You won't be able to see what you're doing clearly. Draw neatly. Draw your diagrams. Don't skip numbers. Don't skip 0. 0 counts. That's all I have for this lesson. If you have any questions, let me know on the school website, and I will see you in class.